your thing like this, do your thing, and then what'll happen is you will.
I hope I remember all that.
So you're going to be up there with the flowers. All right, you guys almost ready? Hi, how are you? And it got quiet. And it got quiet. All right, good evening. The time being 7 p.m., I'd like to call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith. Here. Councilmember Gilbert. Here. Councilmember Patassi.
Here.
Councilmember Kettering.
Here.
And Mayor Barrios.
Here, please note we are all five present this evening. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation provided by Steve Newbon of Life Point Church. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, Steve.
Let's pray. Well, Lord, I want to thank you so much for the opportunity to live in this community. I thank you for the city of Oakdale and greater Oakdale. What a blessing to live here, Lord. I thank you for this council. Lord, I thank you for their service and hard work. I pray that you encourage them and strengthen them. Lord, thank you that your wisdom and clarity is just a prayer away. And Lord, most importantly, I want to pray for our first responders, our firefighters, our police officers. Lord, that you would protect them and surround them, be a shield about them. And I pray this all in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. All right, at this time, item 5.1, recognizing Christopher Leon for earning a rating of excellence at the California Music Educators Association Solo Festival, and the Oakdale High School Color Guard for earning third place at their CVGPA competition. And at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Councilmember Gilbert, as she's been the one spearheading this. So take it away.
So I just have a few words to say. Luis Cruz is the band instructor this year, and he's a very close friend of mine. We have the same birthday. Happy late birthday, Luis. When we were in high school, he had always talked about how he wanted to be the band instructor, and now finally, as adults, he is. And it's so great to watch the Color Guard and the band on Instagram. I follow a lot of the Color Guard members online, and they're very passionate about what they're doing. And the reason this is kind of close to me is I was friends with the theater kids and the band kids in high school, and I always felt like the city kind of overlooked those programs. So when I ran for council, I wanted to make sure that all the music and theater programs felt seen. So thank you guys for coming, and I appreciate everything that you do when you are seen, and you guys have been so passionate and talented.
Good job. At this time, Luis will say a few words, and then we will go ahead and present the certificates.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you to all of you on our wonderful city council for sharing this moment and time with us. I want to take a moment to reflect on everything this team and our amazing coach have accomplished together, and to extend my deepest thanks to everyone behind me who made this season so successful. The Oakdale High School Winter Guard has had an incredible season, finishing in second place out of 38 teams at this year's championship competition. With a record-breaking score of 90.44, our talented performers have shown their dedication, passion, and skill. This marks the highest score in Oakdale team's history, and we could not be more proud. Some of our students also received well-deserved recognition for their individual performances. Just wave to the audience when I say your name. Alani Avila was selected to perform a solo guard show in front of the prestigious CVGPA audience. Her talent is a testament to her dedication and her work. Students Nathaniel Gilbert and Sylvie Gilbert also brought home first place in the highly competitive CVGPA solo and ensemble competition. All of their commitment to performing made an unforgettable impact, not just that night, but in everyone's future. First and foremost, I want to thank our talented students. All of you have shown what true dedication and commitment looks like. You've all demonstrated incredible resilience, teamwork, and artistry. I am so proud of how far you've come since the beginning of the year and since I started my work here in Oakdale. Each rehearsal and performance is a testament to your passion and effort. To Coach Taylor, she couldn't make it tonight. Thank you for your endless hours of guidance, encouragement, and support. You've helped mold not only incredible performers, but also wonderful people. Your leadership and expertise have been invaluable to our success, and we are very fortunate to have you as part of this program. Let's be real, Taylor. The program would not be the same without you. I don't ever get to say this to her, but thank you. Thank you for being a great role model to myself and the students, being a great teacher, and also a great friend. To the families behind me and those who couldn't come, thank you for your unwavering support, whether it was through late student pickups, early morning drop-offs, providing snacks, helping with equipment, or cheering from the stands. Winter Guard is not just a team effort, it's a community effort. We could have not done it without your love and encouragement. Your involvement makes a difference. To Oakdale Music Boosters and everyone behind the scenes, thank you for making sure that every practice, performance, and competition ran smoothly. Your help has literally helped us move mountains. Your hard work often goes unnoticed, but it is truly appreciated. From the setup and teardown and everything in between, your contributions have been integral to our success. I also want to give a special shout out to these people for helping this season be successful. Our superintendent, Larry Mendonca, our school principal, Michael Moore, my boss, Gillian Wagner, have been instrumental in making sure that the class has what it needs. Another special shout out goes to Shannon Kettering for supporting this team and myself unconditionally throughout the years, and Talmadge Allen and Jeremy Fields for coordinating gym spaces with us at Oakdale High School and Oakdale Junior High. Lastly, I want to thank all of you for the amazing memories, the laughter, and the lessons we've shared this season. As we move forward, we need to carry with us the spirit of this team, our unity, our resilience, and the passion we bring to everything we do. Here's to many more seasons of success, both on and off the floor. Thank you, students, for telling your story, and I am so grateful for each and every one of you.
We are going to call your name, and as we call your name, please come forward and grab your certificate, and then stay standing up here with us. We're going to take a group photo. Thank you.
Nathaniel Gilbert. Skyla Mylar. Princess Ko. Amelia Rost. Malia Pender. Alani Avala. Ainsley Pearson. Abigail Holt. Maddie Baker. Sophie Gilbert. Issei Mendes Dubon. And last but not least, congratulations to Christopher Leon.
Thank you.
Congratulations, everyone. Congratulations. Nice job. Hi, guys. All right, before we begin, I'd like to take a moment to review our policies regarding public comments and addressing the council. While we've sometimes taken a more relaxed approach in the past, moving forward, we will be adhering more closely to these guidelines in the interest of respecting everyone's time and ensuring our meetings run efficiently. If you wish to comment on an item listed on the agenda, you'll have the opportunity to do so once that item has been open for discussion. We kindly ask that comments remain focused on the specific agenda item at hand. If your comment pertains to a topic not listed on the agenda, the appropriate time to share that will be during the designated public comment period. All comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Please know that your input and concerns are always valued by both myself and the entire City Council. If you feel your topic requests more time or discussion, we'd be happy to schedule a follow-up conversation at a later date. Thank you for your understanding and cooperation. And with that, now is the time for public comment. Anyone wishing to provide public comment, come up to the mic, state your name, and you have 3 minutes. Good evening.
Hey, Curtis.
Good evening.
Colleen.
Curtis Saney here, former council member. I have a couple handouts to Colleen, can you pass? And there might be one extra we'll have to see for Tom.
Bring one around to Tom.
Nice to see you here again.
It's good to be here. Good to be seen. Thanks for having me. Good evening, Mayor Barrios and City Council members and everyone else here. I'm here to present on something that when I heard rumors of as a City Council member a couple years ago, I warned several times against. Present during those times, on and off record, were Mayor Barrios, Councilmember Smith, likely Chief Ramar at the time, and certainly the city manager, Brian Whitemeyer, at the time. I'm speaking of the South Stearns residential annexation. I'm here to provide additional objection and education and to advise of a mistake that would have generational impact. I also advised last week the City Planning Commission and went to their meeting. And so this is the follow-up to that to you guys. Please reference the handout that I gave you. And Colleen, if you could record it for the minutes and public record, and if there's any other formality needed, I would be happy to follow up with that. It appears the Oakdale Municipal Airport Master Plan and Layout Plan have been largely ignored, as well as general common sense. I don't know which consulting firm reviewed this, but it raises questions to whom and to what their allegiance is to. I also, while we're on that subject, if you'll take a look at the handout, the first one is just a screenshot of the Google Maps of the Oakdale Airport area. The highlighted yellow is the proposed residential, and you can see that it's on the approach path for runway 10 and the departure path for runway 28, as long also with the racetrack style traffic pattern. You have altitudes on approach that over the top of that residential area would be on approach from 10 down to 300 feet. My time is running low, so I'm going to continue on here. There's also FAA advisory circulars that I could reference, 150/190-4B, but I don't have time to address. Basic City Planning 101 does not encroach residential into and underneath the traffic pattern of an increasingly active airport. In addition, I understand in previous meetings these chambers were full with opposition to the annexation. So between the public sentiment and then the technical side regarding the airport pattern, this doesn't make a bit of sense except for a few handful of landowners, et cetera. So as a citizen of Oakdale and your constituent,
Thank you, Curtis.
I'll just speak with you more after the meeting, and
Yes.
I won't go over time.
You have my cell number. Please reach out to me.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. No. No. Anyone else for public comment?
Good evening, Council. Eric Hadlin,
Good evening.
local citizen as well. To continue on with this discussion, this land that is north of Sierra and west of Stearns is, as Curtis said, exactly in the flight path of the approach into 10 and the departure at 28. When you're on that approach, if you're standing at our store, Hadlin Ford on F Street, we're about 10,500 feet from the approach into 28, directly in the same path. At that point, you can already see grease marks on the belly of an airplane. This proposed area is 4,000 feet from the runway, so it's further than halfway closer. You're going to have airplanes flying literally right over homes at about 200 feet. If we were to take an airplane and fly over any of your houses at 200 feet, first of all, you wouldn't like it. And second of all, we'd be branded as careless and reckless, and we'd have our pilot license revoked. Because this is in the path of an approach, it would be legal to be under that zone, but no one in this room would want to be in that house. So the developers are not going to stop on this because they want to develop this place and make money. The people buying the homes aren't going to know about it until they move in. Then they're going to be miffed. So it is absolutely everyone on this council's responsibility to foresee the problems in the future and stop this from being a problem. Because if this gets developed and these houses happen and people move in, they're not going to be able to sell them and move out, and we're going to have a problem on our hands. It's that simple. So it needs to be addressed. And it's totally contrary to the airport master plan. If you go in and look on the airport master plan, page 59 and forward, it discusses this exact zone. On the airport layout diagram, and these are all available on the city's website, on page 7, it discusses this exact zone. So this is not something that hasn't been hashed already. It's already been done. So appreciate it.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment? Good evening.
Good evening, Brian Cleveland I've been a user of the airport for, I hate to say it, but about 60 years off and on. But I know Curtis ran out of time up here. I don't have any agenda or any notes or anything. But I do hope that you will listen to him in the future because he has a lot more information. There's several pilots, users of the airport here tonight. We were only notified of this meeting just late this afternoon, basically, and there's several of us that have showed up. And I know that if there would have been more time, there would have been probably a room full, filled this chamber up with people from the airport and the users. Because we don't want to have problems with the airport. And the location of this particular subdivision would create problems for the future of the airport. There's other airports in California. One is San Jose Reed Hillview. Another one is Santa Monica. Those are the two that I can think of off the top of my head. I know there's others. There's others that have been closed out throughout the country because of encroachments from subdivisions that were built too close to the airport. The properties around airports need to be industrial or what probably is mostly around the Oakdale Airport now, which is rural development. So anyhow, I would hope that you take that into consideration and really look at this hard. And again, listen to what Curtis has to say because he's got a lot of specifics on it. So I thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, next. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you guys for your time. My name is Michael Verkijk, resident of Oakdale. My wife's the librarian at Sierra View Elementary and a lifelong resident of Oakdale. So just to dovetail what Brian and Eric and Curtis had to state, I would highly encourage, and this is just to protect the city and the council from making an egregious error, that you look into the FAA Advisory Circular 150/5190-4B. It is, I believe, about a 129-page document published by the FAA to prevent what could potentially happen. And on the first page, I think it's bulletin 3 or 4, there's some very specific language that I'd like to share. And it states, airports owned and operated by the same jurisdiction that is the land use authority, e.g. city or county-owned airport, are expected to adequately control land use near the airport and prevent new incompatible development. The entire circular is about developing land near the airport, and I think it's a really good, worthwhile read. If kind of what, to further what Curtis was stating, if any of you would be interested in a flight around the area and in the pattern on both runways to see what that would look like, there are a handful of us that would be more than willing to do that, just to give you an idea. But it's when the weather changes during the winter and the runways flip-flop, that's why there's 2 runways. And typically during the winter, the runways flip-flop due to the prevailing wind. You are just descending really low right over there. So, thank you for your time.
Thank you for that information.
You bet.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Anyone else for public comment? Okay. Public comment is now closed.
Jerry, if, I've heard in the past, talking with Brian and stuff like that, that the airport wishes to extend the runway 1,000 feet to accommodate bigger planes. Do you know which direction, based off this map, it would extend? Would it extend closer to these homes, or would it extend the other way?
It would extend to the east. There was a proposal several years ago. The city was looking into it, and then the project was canceled.
Gotcha. Okay.
Thank you. All right, next item is the city council consent agenda. City council member want to discuss an item? If not, this is an action item. I will recuse myself from item number 9.7. Other than that, anyone have questions? This is an action item.
I don't have questions. I do have a couple of comments. 9.5, Love Oakdale, April 26th. Sign up online to be a volunteer that day. It's a community-wide volunteering day. I'm just reading some of these off because the consent agenda kind of slides under the radar. 9-7, which Mayor Barrios has recused herself, is concerts in the park. So that's going to start soon. Appreciate that. Starts June 11th. 9.9 is a report to Housing Element Annual Progress Report. And the short version of the long story is in 2024, only 63 single-family residential home permits were issued. That's not a lot. 4 additional ADU units were permitted as well. That's not a lot of houses. And 9-13, I had some questions with City Manager Jerry Ramar here in regards to the K-9 patrol vehicle. We're going to turn it into a standard patrol vehicle, and he answered all of the questions that I had in regards to that. So with that being said, motion to approve the consent agenda.
I second that motion.
We have a first and a second. Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilmember Patassi,
Yes.
Councilmember Kettering,
Yes.
and Mayor Barrios.
Yes, with the exception of recusing myself from 9.7.
Yes.
All right, this passes 5-0. Thank you. Next item is staff report, Consider a resolution authorizing staff to enter into a contract with Tuckfield and Associates to conduct a water and wastewater rate study using funds from Water Operations, Fund 645, and Sewer Fund 622.
And Mayor, if I may,
Sure.
have a minute? Unless you've been on vacation on Pluto, you know that right now the economy has tanked, and people's savings funds and retirement plans have taken a hit right to the shins. And I'm presuming that this water report, wastewater rate study report, is going to lead to a rate hike. And the last thing I want to see on a council agenda are the words rate hike. The resume for this company that's going to do this is impressive. It's thorough. It's everything that we need it to be. I think that I'd request that we take this off the agenda because I don't want to spend $34,200 on a report that's going to lead us to have to vote on a rate hike. And I would suggest that we either table this or just push it down the road until the economy at least gets its feet back on the ground. Councilor Hanlon, I don't know what the suggested step is. Do I make a request that we table this at this point?
That would be in order.
Okay. I would like to request that. Do we take a vote?
I second that motion.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilmember Patassi,
Yes, I agree that, you know, things are not in the great place for a lot of people, and costs are high, cost of living are high, and I agree that, you know, that would just open the door to more hardships on people.
Councilmember Kettering,
Yes, but before we end this, I'd like to hear the interim city manager's take on why it was on the agenda today.
I agree with that as well.
Okay, so in the presentation, part of it was going to be adherence to Proposition 218. So we can't just arbitrarily raise rates. We have to be cautious with the city's money. And that's what this rate study is going to do. The rate study is going to tell us if we're on board for sustainability with water and wastewater. If we're not, how much of an increase we would need. Additionally, along with that, if we're not sustainable and we go into the negative, in other words, it's costing us more to produce water or to clean the water after as wastewater, we're going to have the money from somewhere. And the account that's going to be hurt the most is going to be the general fund, because we're going to have to subsidize the water and wastewater. That's if we can't make our costs. Now, when we're talking about the general fund primarily is used for public safety. So public safety would take a hit with firefighters and police, because we would be subsidizing that. If we do the wastewater study, we'll know where we're at. We don't have to accept the rate increase until you feel like the economy's better. But to stand down on this and not do it, I think is going to be a mistake. It's going to put us another year behind. We haven't done a wastewater survey or a water or wastewater survey in about 7 years. The last time we had a rate increase was in the fiscal year 2021. So we haven't had a rate increase in about 4 years. If we continue down this road, there's going to be two things that happen. We're going to subsidize it with another account, or we're going to do a wastewater survey when times could potentially be worse or could potentially be better, and we're going to have to do a rate increase. Now that we've postponed the rate increase, the next rate increase could be substantially higher, hitting people's pocketbooks even more. So I'm going to respectfully say that I believe that this is a mistake. I want you to think about it. We can meet individually, and I can bring it back to City Council at a later time.
Can you tell us what exactly how they go about their study and what it is they're looking at to, come up with their final result or answer, and then what a potential rate increase would it be? $2, $3, up to how? Does that make sense what I'm asking?
I understand the rate study vaguely. I can't get into the details because I don't understand them, and that's why we have consultants, because as a city staff, we can't know everything, especially a city of our size, so we have to rely on the consultants.
Okay.
But basically they look at how we're using the water, how much it costs, what our capital needs are going to be. In other words, are we going to need another clarifier? What other capital projects come along with this, and how do we fund them? And then based on that, they project how much it's going to cost and what the rate increase would be. The rate increases that we've seen before that, if I recall correctly, were relatively low. So essentially, as a city and as a government, we can't set a price on water for more than what it costs us to provide this service to our community, and we don't want to. So I don't anticipate that it would be a real high figure. We're not going to know what that figure is until they conduct the survey. The $34,000 to get the survey done is going to seem relatively insignificant for us to have a vision of where we need to go.
And would you suggest bringing this back, Mr. Smith, since you started this discussion?
Would I suggest bringing it back? Or when
Sorry,
would I?
excuse me. When would you suggest? I was talking to a local real estate agent today, and he told me he lost 2 deals because people couldn't qualify for a loan because of the stock market. And this had just happened today. So with that, when would you suggest bringing this back?
Can I add one thing?
Yes.
So staff contacted other cities to see what the rate was. Albert, what does CCF mean?
100 cubic feet.
So 100 cubic feet. So the base rate for Oakdale is $15.69 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We contacted 10 cities. Out of the 10 cities, Oakdale's the least at $15.69 base rate. City of Patterson, I'm going to go in order. Okay, City of Patterson is, and I'm going to give you rough numbers. City of Patterson is $23, Newman $32, Houston $38, Escalon 40, Modesto 40, Ceres 44, Turlock 52, Riverbank 54, and Waterford 54. That's the base rate. Then we charge for per 100 cubic feet. Oakdale's $2.15 per 100 cubic feet. And again, Patterson is $2.92, Newman is $2.08, Houston $1.66, Escalon $1.49, Modesto $2.20, Ceres $3.30, Turlock $1.76, Riverbank $63, and Waterford $1.92. So we're right in about the middle where we start charging per 100 cubic feet. But our base rate is significantly lower than the highest rate. So you can take that into consideration.
Since we're throwing numbers around, CCFs, how many CCFs per household per month on an average?
And during the winter months, it's 2 to 3. The water consumption goes up as everyone starts watering their lawns. And so one of the things is that by having a lower flat base charge
Per 100?
It gives the homeowner the control on the water, what their bill is. They can control how much water is being used. As we've seen some of the other cities, they have a lower per 100 cubic foot charge, but they have a higher base fee, so that everyone, even when you're using, if you're using 10 to, on average during the summer, you'll have where individuals are using 10 to 1,500 cubic feet. And so that they have that ability to turn down how much water they're using in their lawns. So it's still, on most during the summer, their water, sewer, and garbage can run about $150 a month. I wish my bill at home was that. Even in the winter, I'm paying close to $200 a month. So,
And using just that low number of 10,
yes,
and using the low difference between us and Patterson, which is $8, that's $80. Okay, so we're suggesting people who just lost a third of their 401ks to cough up $80 a month.
and well, it's one that I don't know that we would be looking at anywhere near such an increase to looking at what Patterson's at. It's one that we have not had any increases for the last 4 years. And it's one that normally when we are looking at any increases, we're doing small increments. We're not looking to do $2 per 100 cubic foot or anything like that. That's part of what the consultant does, is he looks at our costs and our capital projects and comes up with a calculation, which we can then look at. Okay, we may have these projects. Well, what if we postpone some of these capital projects? And so there is some flexibility, but at least he can go through and run the calculations and looking at operational and then looking at capital needs, and so that it can be adjusted.
Thank you.
So the consultant could potentially come back and say, you don't need a water rate change at all. But we don't know that until he looks at our information, looks at what we're doing, looks at what our customers are paying, and determines how much it costs us to actually produce the water and then handle the wastewater.
Y'all can override me on this one, but I've said my piece.
Can we bring it back to council in 6 months?
I don't know if we need 6 months, but we're
Or a
going to need
year?
at least a couple of months.
Yeah.
I can bring it back to council whenever you're ready for it.
Does that work, Tom? Is that how we would do it?
He can meet with you individually and come to a consensus down the road.
Okay.
Okay.
Without saying what each other said, of course.
Right, yeah. So do that? So you're good with that?
Oh, I'm good with that, yeah.
Okay, then we'll go ahead and do that.
Jake, you want to go ahead
So we do it
and
again?
finalize
Make
that?
them.
So,
2 months,
To withdraw that.
3 months?
3 months,
3 months. So
Bring it
3
back to-
months, bring back to council.
please.
Okay.
Everybody,
3 months?
Also, it will take approximately 6 months for the consultant to go through and do all of the calculations. So it's one that it's not where we award a contract and they're back in 30 days. So it takes time to go through all of the
okay, that's a piece of
process.
information I didn't know.
Yeah, so it's not a, hey, we award a contract and in 2 weeks he has the results. Because we do provide information to him, not only the costs, but what the consumptions are. And so it takes a lot of calculations of going through that. So it will take probably 4 to 5 months of doing that and then bring it to council for presentation. So the whole thing will take at least 6 months to where you would be making the decision on that rate increase. So it's one that even after they do all of the calculations, the council could say, okay, we'll consider this, but the effective date is not for another 3 months or 6 months.
Now, Albert, with all your expertise, can't you just,
No,
no?
no.
We can't
Because-
just say we're gonna raise it $2 and leave it at that, and then add the
No,
34 grand
because
for that? Why, oh,
unfortunately,
my?
Prop 218
Yeah.
requires a very in-depth calculation.
So
And-
I just want to clarify the timeline. It's going to take the consultant approximately 6 months. We have to have time to review it. We have to, I believe the next step would be to take it to a public hearing where the public gets to come and comment. And then it gets set after 30 days after that. Isn't that correct?
It's a 45-day notice for the Prop 218.
Yes.
Okay. So minimum of 45 days notice for the Prop 218. So we're looking at probably 9, 10, to potentially a year before we have anything for the city council on a rate adjustment.
Okay,
All right, given this new information,
I need to add questions from the public, sorry,
oh, I'm sorry, go
I
ahead.
forgot. Any questions from the public?
Those will be
Comments, excuse me, any comments from the public? Comments?
No comments, just
Okay.
questions.
Thank you.
Okay,
Comments?
okay, I'll make a comment. It'll be kind of
In the form of a question?
Comment in the form of a comment.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I do have a comment. Maybe somebody could ask the question of this $34,000 that it would cost for this fee. Would it be a definite fee, or would it change the longer we wait to make a decision?
Thank you for your comment. All right, bring it back to council.
Okay, in light of the new information of the extended period of time that this study takes, I am willing to say, item 11.1.2, that we consider this rate study after we hear the proposal from city manager tomorrow. You all right with that or no?
I don't
Tom?
think with however much time goes by, people are gonna be wanting to pay more, so time doesn't really, I don't think it's really gonna matter. People aren't gonna wanna spend more anyways, regardless of the time. What do you think?
Well, I mean, that's the way it is with groceries too.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to spend it, but if we're mandated to raise our rates and do this study, then we're gonna have to do it eventually. And if we start it now, then we'll peel the Band-Aid off in 6 months.
Tom?
Are you wanting, yes.
So I think what they're asking is, can they now hear the presentation and vote on it, or?
Yeah, just withdraw your motion.
Okay, I will do exactly that, withdraw the motion.
Okay. So, okay.
Have fun.
Okay, Mayor, members of the city council, Before you is consideration of a resolution authorizing staff to enter into a contract with Tuckfield and Associates to conduct a comprehensive water and wastewater rates study, ensuring financial sustainability and compliance with Proposition 218. So the background, a lot of this will be a repeat, but just to make sure that we don't miss anything. The last comprehensive rate study was conducted 2017, so about 8 years ago. We've had significant inflation, infrastructure costs, and regulatory requirements increases. And updated rate structures are needed to ensure financial sustainability and service quality, and the study will analyze revenue sufficiencies, cost allocation, and customer impact. So he will take into consideration how much it's going to impact our customers. The objectives are to assess the revenue sufficiency for operations, capital improvements, and debt service. And again, as Albert said, we could postpone some of the capital improvements if we're in significant economic times, and the facility can handle that. We want to develop a fair and equitable rate structure, and then analyze customer usage patterns and the impact of potential rate adjustments. And that's basically how they set the rates. So the objectives, we need to ensure compliance with Proposition 218 and industry best practices. Requires fees to be subject to specific procedures, which include notice and protest requirements. So we can take protests from the community if they don't want to see the rate increase, and we receive enough of them. And then cost of service requirements, as I stated prior, we can't charge more than it costs us to cover capital facility needs and the cost of providing water and sewer services. And those funds cannot be used for other unrelated services. So anything that gets captured in those water and wastewater funds stays in the wastewater funds and is used for that specifically. And the consult selection, Tuckfield and Associates, extensive experience in water and wastewater financial planning. Previously worked with the City of Oakdale on utility rate studies. They've done 2 of the last 2 for us. We like the work product we get, the professionalism of the company, and the way they keep us informed. And then the proposed cost would be $34,200, including professional services and expenses. And Mr. Tuckfield does come to City Council and provide his results, making the suggestions. So there's no impact to the general fund. It's $17,100 from water operations and $17,100 from sewer operations. And then the work's going to be completed in the 2025-2026 fiscal year. That's when we intend to pay for it, and of course that will be budgeted. So staff's recommending that we approve the contract with Tuckfield. We authorize the funding of $34,200 from the designated utility funds to ensure financial sustainability and a fair, compliant rate structure. And with that, I'll take questions from the council.
Now you want questions from the council?
Any questions from the council for
I got a
city
couple.
manager?
I just did a quick Google search for 2017, and Oakdale's population was approximately 20,675. When they did that 2017, do we have the data that shows what did it increase back then, or if it did, and by how much? Do we have records of,
Yes.
of that?
I got it today. You got it, Albert? Oh, perfect.
When we did the rate study in 2017, we actually eliminated the tiers because they had just determined that doing tiers was not legal. And so we went to a lower amount. So we actually did a decrease on the flat fee. The base charge went from $16.97 to $11.48. And then in 18, it went to $13, and 18-19 to $15.14, 19-20 went to $15.41, and then 20-21 was $15.69. So we did small amounts, and then the consumption charge started at $1.56 to $1.80, $2.07, $2.11, and $2.15. So it's one that that those increments were small amounts. So that it's one that, looking at all of the costs of providing the services and looking at the capital needs, and we have been able to set some money aside for some capital replacement as we're doing many of our street infrastructure. As right now we're doing the south downtown that is going in and replacing water lines, sewer lines, and so that we have the ability to pay for those as we go, so we don't have to go into debt. And so part of this is looking at, as we look at all of these, is one of trying to make it as painless as possible, but also looking at the financial stability of the enterprise accounts.
Thank you.
And the bottom line is the city will never make a profit on this water.
No.
It's actually not allowed, it's prohibited for us to make profit, but we do have to be able to put money into the capital needs.
And in the last couple of years, unfortunately, the state of California continues to increase their fees that they're charging us, so that for the operating of the water system, they continue to fund their staffing levels on the backs of all of the cities. So we are seeing those regulatory increases.
So essentially, we're going to have to increase water and sewer rates at some time.
Yeah.
Do we want to do it in an incremental rate where people can adjust to it, or do we want to shock them in 5 years because now we have no money in the accounts because we've been subsidizing it?
So you're saying because of Prop 218, we cannot just say we're going to uprate this flat
No.
rate fee and then this
No.
CF, whatever.
No, we have to go
We
through the
cannot-
study.
Yes, you have to do the study. You have to have the justification for it. You can't just say, oh, we'll add 5% or we'll add 3%.
Since the state's requiring the study, do they offer to pay for any of it? Or it's all on the city's,
No,
it's all on the city's shoulders?
no. It's one of those that's part of the requirements, is that you have to show justification for those. And so that's part of that process.
I have a comment and a question. I want to thank City Manager Romar for answering lots of questions about this that I had today. I knew nothing about water studies, and after getting information from him, I felt a lot more comfortable about what it looked like, what it is, what the legalities were, do we have to do it versus not, and what's required. My question is, and I didn't think about this until you just started about incremental, and I don't know if this may be a legal question, oh, sorry. I don't do well with microphones. Anyway, if we get to the point where there's a potential rate increase, I know it comes back to the council for approval or disapproval. Does the council have any say on all at once, incremental? Who makes the decision on the types of increases based on the study?
You do. And it's usually an up to amount for a certain period of years. So some years you might not exercise your right to increase it based on the study. But you can decide whether you want to do it incrementally, or we're going to front load it, back load it. It's up to council.
Okay, and that's something that staff would put requests in, and then we would approve or disapprove based on, okay.
We bring it back to council, and then you give us direction. You essentially vote on it.
Okay, thank you so much.
We would send that out to the public. It would say, here's the proposal. You have 45 days to protest that or not, and then we have the public hearing.
Thank you so much.
All right, any comments from the public? Okay. So pretty much if we pass this, which is what we would have to do to get the rate increase if we decide to do it, how will the public know once this 6 months goes and they come back to us and they tell us, hey, you guys are right on target, or you need to raise your rates a little bit? How will the public find out? I mean, because, I mean, we can put everything on, you know, social media and you think everybody and their mother knows about it. But my biggest concern with this is how it's gonna fly all over that it does on social media, and everybody's gonna say, oh, the city's raising their rates, which we know that is not a true statement. So we can post that all over, but for us on council to say, hey, that's not a true statement, we are paying for a study because this is what we have to do legally. If the study comes back and says, hey, you're low or you're high, whatever it is, then that is a public hearing, and the public has the right to come and petition it. Is that correct?
You would
I
have-
just want to make sure that all council, we're all on the same page with what that is.
You'd come back with the study.
Come back with the
You
study.
would then authorize us to take it out to the public for that 45-day notice.
And
Do
how
like
does the
mailer
public?
We would
ballots?
then have
That-
another opportunity.
There
to
will,
address you at the
there
public
will be a
hearing.
mailer.
Will that go into their water bill?
Yes.
Their monthly bill?
Yes.
Everyone will get in their monthly bill?
Yes. Every customer will receive a flyer for the public hearing. So there will be notification on that, as well as in the newspaper.
And on our social
And
media?
all of those other ways of, yes, everyone will receive a notification of when the meeting will be held.
And it's up to us five as well to let the community know, hey, this is what's true, this is what is untrue.
Right.
And it's up to us to spread the word, correct?
Yes.
Okay, got it. Okay. Any other comments from council? Questions for staff?
I hope everybody enjoyed the detour.
Wow. So, there we go.
It was fun, thank you.
A motion to approve 11.1 for the rate study.
I'll second that.
First and a second, roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Kettering,
Yes.
Councilmember Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilmember Patassi,
No.
and Mayor Barrios.
Yes, this item passes 4-1. Again, this is just
The study.
the study, the rate study, not a rate increase. Okay, thank you. And thank you for going through that over and over with us. I think it's important that our city council knows that and gets the right information to the public.
Can I make one further comment before we
Yes.
leave this? For me, the most important comment that was made today by City Manager Ramar was, without the study being done, the potential impact to public safety in the city is, if we keep going in the direction we're going, that's what everyone's going to assume, is there's going to be rate increases, is money will have to come out of somewhere else to pay for that if the city is below that target, and the damage will be to our fire and police services. So I think getting the study done is critical for us to be able to see what does it look like. We have no idea what it's going to look like, but my fear is I was just going to make a horrible joke, underwater, when it comes to this, and it could potentially damage public services or public safety down the road. And the last thing I want to see is fire and police damaged by this.
I love that, and I would appreciate you also commenting on public items that you see so that people know what's real. Thank
Is
you.
there a potential for other studies to come about from this to increase other rates that residents already pay? That could be a potential concern, like, oh, if we're gonna do a study for this, what are they gonna do a study for something else that we pay for? Are more rates going to go up type of thing?
Essentially, this is, so Tuckfield only does water and wastewater.
Yeah, but like other things that we pay into.
Without knowing everything that's out there, we could potentially have to do other studies, but this one doesn't impact another one.
Gotcha.
So we're governed by a lot of laws. We make sure that we provide guidance to the council that, so that when we're governed by those laws, we present, so that you have a knowledge base and you can make the decision based on what those laws are.
I am going to request that the city, on the city Facebook page, social media pages, that this is explained clearly so we can share from our personal page. I would appreciate it.
So just for clarification, on the city's social media pages, you want us to make it clear that this is a water and a wastewater
Yes.
study
Yes.
and not an increase?
Yes.
And that if there is an increase, that we're going to notify the public in multiple ways?
Yes,
We can do that.
thank you. Appreciate that. All right, item 11.2.
Did you already do public comment on this?
I did. Jeff Roberts, item 11.2.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of City Council. 11.2 is, I'm talking about a section of sewer that's on B Street between North Third and North Yosemite, right by Forensi's, right there. And it's, this resolution, this presentation is to consider of a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with DR Pipeline Incorporated for the replacement of 200 linear feet of sewer line at B Street and North Third in the amount of $65,000, with a 10% contingency in the amount of $6,500 to be funded from the Sewer Capital Replacement Fund 621, CP 2521, for a project total of $71,500. That right there is a map of 1953 Oakdale. And I went ahead and circled that little green spot. That's the area that the sewer line needs to be replaced. I highlighted green the actual section where the line is. This is a map of current Oakdale, maybe about 10 years ago, but it's the one I could find the most. And you'll see I outlined the old 1953 deal, and they kind of just did this for some fun because basically it's a 200-foot sewer replacement. Can I do it, yes or no? So I thought I'd spice it up a smidge. So anyway, that's what 1953 Oakdale looked like. In 1953, these are the cars we drove. Thought that would be kind of fun. I want to apologize to Eric Halen. If I had known he had been here, I'd have had a Ford up there.
Yes, yes.
But just got to be fair to all involved. And then back in the day before Mr. Ramar had his Mach-E's, that's what they were chasing people with around Oakdale. In 1953, you could only get so much types of material to put in the ground. All they had at the time was what's called mud joint cement pipe. Those are 3-foot links. There's transite, which is asbestos concrete, terracotta clay, cast iron, and that nasty little stuff on the bottom is called Orangeburg pipe. That's all you could get to put in our right-of-ways. Well, on that section of the street, it's 3-foot mud joint concrete pipe. And the reason I did this little trip down memory lane is because that pipe was put in to last 70 to 100 years. And we're at 70 years right now. And the reason that we're having to fix this is because there's a very large belly in it. So in 1953, the standards to inspect pipes were way different than they are today. Today, we air test, we mandrel, and we TV after water's been run through, and we can tell how much of a dip they would have in the line. Well, back in 1953, all they did was they put a line from one side to the other. Hopefully they did it level, and all they did was plug the manholes, fill it up with water, pull the plug. It had to hold water for so long, they just pulled the plug, and when the water was gone, they said it passed. Well, that dip could have been in there since 1953. I don't know. It could have failed for whatever other reason. So it needs to be replaced because it's what's called a terminal line. So this is that section. The yellow line indicates the amount of pipe to be replaced. They're going to be putting a new manhole at Third. It flows from, in this picture, from right to left. It terminals, which means dead end. That's an end manhole. That's put there to be able to service the end of that line so you can get a back truck in there or something like that. So they will be pouring a new terminal manhole, replacing that pipe with new PVC pipe, which is the standard for today, and then that will be repaired. There's a couple of services that'll be hooked up to it, and that's pretty much the gist of the deal. So you know, a car in 1953 cost $1,600. A house was $9,500. Gas was 24 cents a gallon. Bread was 29 cents a gallon, and milk was 83 cents a gallon. And the population of Oakdale was 4,060 people. So I just thought that was all kind of fun.
You're just rubbing all of that in right now, aren't you?
Yeah, I did. That was just for you only, because I figured he would come and ask me some questions about what milk cost in 1953 if he had a chance.
Great presentation. I love it. I love
So
it.
here we went to get 3 bids. 2 of the contractors failed to perform to give the bid. So we awarded it to DR Pipeline for $65,000 plus the $6,500 contingency for a project total of $71,500. Staff recommends that the city council adopt a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into this agreement with DR Pipeline for $71,500. Any questions?
Any comments from the public?
Yes.
All right.
My comment relates to the, all these agenda items and 11.2 and the rest of them. And that is, when you're educating the public, I know from being on city council, but it's important to, as best you can, educate the public on many of these expenditures, like we were just talking about, is due to what feels to be often crushing state regulation. And something to think about when the public reaches out to you about this is to advise them, hey, this is not your city council crushing you and putting on some of these things, and a lot of them, like for instance, we had the garbage Senate bill where we had to meet this sort of deal, and we had to increase rates to meet that new regulation, so-called, from the state. So a lot of these things are crushing us from the state level. It's not just conjured up here at the local level. It irks me. It's a little deeper than I have been able to study, but the state, the property tax, tax use allocation has left the disparity in our city budgets where we're left with propping things up with resolution bills and all these extra taxes because we're left with a deficit from the state's regulations. And so we end up with all these special taxes that we have to come up with, and it's a lot of it comes from the state level. So something to think about when you're educating the public and when they reach out to you as representatives.
Thank you, Curtis. All right,
I just want to add one more thing too, I forgot to say. So we have about 20 areas in town that we call trouble sewer lists, and this is on one of them. So this requires monthly service from our sewer crew to go out with a truck and to vac it out. And Ferenzi's Restaurant is there. It's very inconvenient for them. So just so you know, that's another part of it. I forgot to bring it up. So.
thank you. Any questions for Mr. Roberts?
I have a couple. What's the start and end time frame for this? Is it a month?
This is only going to be, so they're probably going to start this about 30 days if you guys give them a notice to proceed, the contractor to put it on the schedule. It'll be done within 3 or 4 days. It's going to be lightning fast.
The other question I had, because this doesn't happen a lot, 2 of the 3 declined to bid or did not respond. Is it too small for them? Is it
Some of that, a lot of people are super busy right now. The reason we didn't seek other after that was because the guys were oh yeah, we'll get you a bid. We looked at it. We want to do it. We'll get you a bid. We'll get you a bid. And now we're ready to go. And they just said, well, sorry, we couldn't get you the bid. So
My third thing was 1 block west of this is a chunk of road between, like say, California. You know where I'm going.
That's where I thought it was.
California on B Street. I mean, it's almost unpaved.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if there is I mean, they're going to be here with all of their equipment and their paving gear. I'm wondering if we would entertain patching up that additional block to the
how about
west.
I'll make you a deal? In about maybe 2 weeks or 4 weeks, whenever we're at next council, I'll bring you 2 reconstruct pavements for you to vote on.
Sweet.
And that will be one of them. How's that sound?
Thank you very much.
That's great.
That was my question, because
I love
that
that.
stretch from where you turn on to pretty much the border, I don't care how nice your car is, your teeth are chattering.
And you guys, this goes to what we're talking about. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're
This
good.
goes to what we're talking about, right? When I'm putting all these prices out, you know how much it probably cost to put this road in 1953?
Yeah.
I told you before, the clock tower was $12,800 in 1906 to build. So we're looking at $60,000. This is just to replace the sewer. It's not the water, not the storm, not the curb, gutter, sidewalk, pavement. So when you go to redo this, so we don't just look at those sections of road, we think, what's under them? Can we pave it and get 10 or 15 years more before the pipe fails? So it's just kind of a game we play. That B Street is on my list. It's high on the list, as well as in front of the broken wheel, in case anyone wants to come up and talk about that.
Thank you.
One last question, doesn't have to do with the project, is looking at where it's at, I can't tell exactly on the map, is this going to impact traffic on Yosemite?
No, it will
Okay.
not.
Okay.
It will not.
Thank you.
And how much was a Big Mac in 1953?
It was, I don't know. I knew it. I knew he would have come up with something. I tried to get everything. I thought he'll ask about
You
milk.
did a great job
He'll
with
ask
it,
about
Justin.
bread.
It was a
Thank you very
good,
much.
good presentation. Back to the council.
I motion to approve item 11.2.
I'll second that motion.
First and a second, roll call, please.
Councilmember Gilbert,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Patassi,
Yes.
Councilmember Kettering,
Yes.
and Mayor Barry.
Yes, this item passes 5-0. Thank you, Colleen. 11.3. Good evening. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Great.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. I am here to talk with you about Area 6 and 7 in our fine town of Oakdale and the slurry seal project that we have to present. I'm supposed to do this. Our low bidder was American Pavement Systems, so that's who we'll be talking about tonight. We are here to consider a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with American Pavement Systems in the amount of $528,400 for the 2025 Area 6 and 7 slurry seal project, and authorize a 5% construction contingency in the amount of $26,420, and authorize construction engineering contingency in the amount of $26,000 for a total project budget of $580,820 to be funded by SB1 Road Maintenance Fund 216. The 2025 Area 6 and 7 project is part of a multi-year slurry seal pavement maintenance plan primarily funded by SB1. Anywhere in town that you've been over the last several years, you know that we've slurried large areas of town, at least one every year over the last several years. Last year we did Birchall Hill. The limits of Area 6 and 7 are primarily within the Vineyards neighborhood, including parts of Crane Road, as well as a portion along J Street to the east. This project also includes the area of Lee Avenue and Ash Avenue to H Street. The map's a little bit little there for you, but all the red lines are where we would be hitting with the slurry during this particular project.
Including Crane Road, right?
Part of Crane Road, yes. Area 6 includes the Vineyards neighborhood and a portion of Crane Road. This area includes 765,000 square feet of Type 2 slurry seal, pneumatic rolling in 23 strategic locations, and restriping of the roads. Area 7 includes the area along J Street east of Willowwood Drive. This area is 506,000 square feet of Type 2 slurry seal, pneumatic rolling in 9 locations, and restriping of the road here as well. Type 2 slurry seal contains larger aggregate particles which allow the seal to repair, raveling, and other more advanced states of wear found on roads, like where we're driving in our neighborhoods every day, and Crane Road especially. The intent of this work is to extend the life of the streets an additional 5 to 7 years. We opened bids on February 20th, and we received many. As you can see, American Pavement Systems was our low bidder at $528,400. Our high bid was $789,000 for this work. The apparent low bidder is American Pavement Systems in the amount of $528,400. Staff is also recommending we include a 5% construction contingency in the amount of $26,420 and a construction engineering contingency in the amount of $26,000 for a total project cost of $580,820. This project is funded by SB1 Road Maintenance Fund 216. The SB1 funds can only be used for street rehabilitation and maintenance purposes, which have been pre-programmed and approved by the City Council. Approval was obtained on June 17th, 2024 via Resolution 2024-052. And that's it.
Karina, what other projects have they done for the city of Oakdale?
American Pavement Systems?
Yes.
A lot.
Not the Frenzy parking lot one, correct?
No, ma'am.
Okay. That's the question I have.
This company does a lot of our slurry sealing, right?
Yeah, they've done at least 3 of the last.
I don't think they did Birchall Hill, but they did 4. They did slurry seal area 4.
Yeah, there's 2 or 3 other large projects, slurry seal projects that they've done in the past.
This is a $500,000. This is a $528,400 project, and the next bidder was $900 higher. And you know somebody's just crying right now. It's 900.
They get very close sometimes. We've had it be within $10.
All right, any comments from the public? All right, any other questions, comments from city council?
I motion to approve.
Hold on. I didn't know where area 6 and 7 was, but since I'm in the area, I have to recuse myself from voting.
Okay.
You can stay.
Okay, so this is an action item.
I motion to approve item 11.3.
And I'll second that motion.
First and a second, roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem, Councilmember Gilbert?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith?
Yes.
Councilmember Kettering?
Yes.
And Mayor Barrios?
Yes, this item passes 4-0. Thank you. All right, city managers report. Anything to add from this lovely meeting tonight?
Nothing more to add.
All right, thank you. Any city council member have an item?
I have a question for Michael Moore, who's sitting in the audience right now. Is our garden club meeting tomorrow or next week?
I'm sorry, which?
Garden club. Is it tomorrow or is it next week? Is it the second Tuesday?
Contact the ancestors. I think it's next week.
Okay, it's on my calendar for next week. Garden club meeting is next Tuesday. I'd invite everybody to come. That's it. They're the people who go around making all the pots downtown and all of the park gardens looking so nice. So I'm inviting everybody. That's it.
Anyone else? All right, Wednesday, as everybody knows, is a national holiday here in the cowboy capital of the world, as it's Cowgirl Luncheon. Thursday, we have a rest roundup at the HBRB to have scholarships for the Oakdale kids. Friday, Slack. Saturday, the parade. We will all be in the parade. Make sure we meet at 8 o'clock across from Walgreens. Parade starts at 9. And then rodeo starts at 1:30, Saturday and Sunday. Have a great rodeo week. See you in 2 and 2, Monday, April 21st at 7 p.m. Meeting adjourned.